Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning. The sun is coming through your window, and for a moment, everything feels normal. But then, slowly, you start to realize something is different. Something is missing. One number in your life has disappeared. Not your salary. Not your savings. Not something big and dramatic that you'd notice immediately. One payment. One monthly obligation. One weight that has been sitting on your shoulders for years, quietly pressing down, stealing your energy, shaping your decisions. And suddenly, without that payment, you can breathe. You don't check your bank app first thing in the morning, holding your breath, hoping everything is okay. You don't feel that quiet pressure in your chest, the low-grade anxiety that has been there so long you forgot it existed. You don't run the same mental calculation for the 1,000th time, trying to figure out if you have enough. You just live. You wake up, you enjoy your coffee, you think about your day, your plans, your life. Not your bills. Now here's the crazy part. The part that will shift how you see everything. That one number has been controlling your life for years. For a decade, maybe longer. It has been shaping your decisions, limiting your options, creating your stress, defining your boundaries. And you didn't even notice it. You thought it was normal. You thought everyone felt this way. You thought this was just what adult life felt like. Today, I'm going to show you what that number really is. Not just the dollar amount, but what it represents. What it does to your life. And why removing it doesn't just change your money, it changes your entire existence. Your mindset, your confidence, your future, your freedom. Let's start with something simple. A way to understand what's really happening inside your life every single day. Imagine you're carrying a backpack. Not a heavy one, not at first. Just a small backpack with a few things inside. You put it on, and you barely notice it. It's light. It doesn't slow you down. But every year, someone quietly adds more weight. A book here. A rock there. Another obligation, another payment, another monthly commitment. You don't notice each addition because it happens slowly, gradually, over time. After 5 years, the backpack is heavier. You're still walking, but it takes a little more effort. You're a little more tired at the end of the day. You don't run as much anymore. You don't take the same risks. After 10 years, the backpack is heavy. You've forgotten what it felt like without it. You're still walking, but slowly. Carefully. You avoid sudden movements. You plan your path around the weight. You make decisions based on what's easiest to carry, not what you actually want. After 15 years, you don't even feel the backpack anymore. Not because it's gone, but because you got used to it. Your body has adapted. Your mind has accepted it. You think this is just what walking feels like. You think this is just what life feels like. That backpack is your monthly obligations. Your mortgage. Your car payment. Your loans. Your subscriptions. Your commitments. Everything that requires money, every month, without fail. Here's the problem. You don't feel the weight anymore because you've been carrying it for so long. It's become part of your normal. Your baseline. Your default. So you think, this is just life. This is just what being an adult feels like. Everyone has this weight. Everyone carries this backpack. But it's not just life. It's not inevitable. It's the weight you've been carrying for so long that it feels normal. And because it feels normal, you never question it. You never ask if it could be different. You never consider what life would feel like without it. Let's break this down in the simplest way possible. The way you'd explain it to a kid, or to yourself if you were looking at your finances for the first time. Let's say you earn 100% of your income. That's the whole pie. Every dollar you make in a month. Now watch what happens to that pie. Watch how it gets divided, sliced, and consumed before you even have a chance to think about it. About 40% of the pie goes to your home. Mortgage or rent, property taxes, insurance, utilities. Just keeping a roof over your head costs almost half of everything you earn. Another 20% goes to transportation. Car payments, insurance, gas, maintenance, parking, tolls. Getting from place to place eats up another big slice. Another 20% goes to food and basic bills. Groceries, restaurants, phone, internet, subscriptions. Just living, just eating, just staying connected. Another 10% disappears into random life stuff. Clothes, gifts, entertainment, the small things you don't track, the little expenses that add up without you noticing. And what's left? After all those slices, after all the obligations, after all the basics. Almost nothing. Maybe 10% if you're careful. Maybe 5% if you're not. So even if you make good money, even if your income is above average, even if you're doing everything right, you still feel stuck. The pie is big, but the slices are huge. There's nothing left for building, for growing, for freedom. And here's the dangerous part. The part that hurts the most. You start blaming yourself. You think, I should earn more. I should work harder. I should try to get that promotion, that raise, that better job. If I could just make more money, everything would be fine. But the truth is something else. Something harder to see and harder to accept. The truth is that the system you're living in, the structure of modern life, is expensive by design. The costs are baked in. The obligations are expected. The backpack is pre-packed for you before you even start walking. You didn't create the weight. You inherited it. Now let's talk about the real trap. The thing that keeps people stuck not for months, but for decades. It's not that you're spending too much on coffee or subscriptions. It's not that you need a better budget or a stricter plan. Those are symptoms. Those are small things. The real trap is this. Your life has a fixed cost. A minimum amount of money you need every single month just to keep everything from falling apart. A financial floor that you cannot go below without losing something important. Think about it like a game. Every month, you need to collect a certain number of coins just to survive. Just to stay in the game. Just to keep playing. If that number is high, if your fixed costs consume most of your income, you can't take risks. You can't make bold moves. You can't do anything that might threaten your ability to collect those coins. You can't quit your job, even if you hate it, because the coins need to keep coming. You can't start a business, because businesses take time to generate coins. You can't take a break, a sabbatical, a year off, because the obligations don't pause. You can't try something new, something uncertain, something that might change your life, because the cost of failure is too high. One question quietly controls everything. Every decision, every choice, every path you consider gets filtered through one filter. Can I still pay my bills? That question lives in your head. It lives in your chest. It lives in the background of every conversation, every job interview, every late-night thought about what you really want to do with your life. It controls your choices. It limits your confidence. It defines your freedom. And you don't even notice it's there because it's been there for so long. Now imagine something changes. Imagine one big payment disappears from your life. Not all your bills. Not everything. Just the biggest one, the heaviest one, the one that's been weighing on you the most. Suddenly, the math shifts. The slices of the pie get smaller. The floor lowers. The weight lightens. You have extra money every month. Money that you don't have to spend on survival. Money that can go somewhere else, do something else, build something else. Your stress drops. Not a little, not temporarily. Permanently. Because the biggest threat, the biggest obligation, the biggest source of pressure is gone. You're not running the same calculations anymore. You're not holding your breath before checking the bank app. The chest pressure eases. Your options grow. Decisions that used to be impossible become possible. Paths that used to be closed open up. But the biggest change isn't the money. It's not the extra cash in your account. It's not the improved balance sheet. The biggest change is this. You stop making decisions out of fear. Fear of losing the house. Fear of not making the payment. Fear of being trapped. Fear of one mistake ruining everything. When that fear fades, when it's not driving your choices anymore, you become a different person. Now you can say things you never could say before. I don't like this job. I'm going to find something else. I want to try something new. I'm going to start that business. I need a break. I'm going to take some time for myself. I can take a risk. I can afford to fail. Not because you're rich. Not because you have millions. But because you're not trapped anymore. The cage door is open. The weight is lifted. The backpack is lighter. Here's the part that almost nobody understands. The part that separates people who just survive from people who actually build. When that big payment disappears, when the weight lifts, you get something powerful. Something more valuable than the money itself. You get time and extra money working together. You have the extra money from the eliminated payment. And you have the time, the mental space, the freedom to do something smart with it. If you take that money and invest it, something beautiful happens. It starts working for you. Slowly at first, barely noticeable. A little growth here, a little dividend there. Nothing dramatic. But over time, as the money grows, as you add more, as the investments compound, it starts moving faster. The growth accelerates. The returns get bigger. At some point, something flips. The money starts making more money than you could ever save from your paycheck. The investments generate more income than you could earn from extra hours or a side job. You're no longer working for money. Money is working for you. You've changed the fundamental relationship. You've gone from being a worker to being an owner. From trading your time to owning assets that produce value while you sleep. This is the secret. This is what most people never experience. Not because it's impossible, but because they never get the weight off long enough to let it happen. They never reduce their fixed costs enough to free up the money and time that make this possible. But here's the trap. Here's what happens to so many people right at this moment. They get the weight off. They eliminate a big payment. They have extra money. They have room to breathe. They have the chance to build something real. And then, instead of building, they upgrade. They get a better car. A bigger apartment. Nicer dinners. More expensive clothes. A better lifestyle. They take the freedom they just earned and trade it for comfort. They take the weight they just removed and replace it with new weight. A different weight, maybe, but still weight. And just like that, the freedom disappears. The extra money is gone. The breathing room is gone. The chance to build is gone. They escaped one cage, only to build a bigger, more expensive one. The backpack is heavy again. The pressure is back. The fear is back. The Sunday night calculations are back. This is the tragedy. This is why so many people who earn good money never actually build wealth. They keep upgrading instead of escaping. They keep adding weight instead of removing it. They keep building a life that looks successful but feels trapped. Here's the truth. The truth that changes everything once you really understand it. Your life is not controlled by how much you earn. It's not controlled by your salary, your title, your job, or your industry. Those things matter, but they're not the main thing. Your life is controlled by how much you need. By your fixed costs. By your monthly obligations. By the weight in your backpack. Two people can make the same exact money and live completely different lives. One is free. One is stuck. One sleeps peacefully at night. One checks their bank account before buying coffee. The difference is not their income. It's their obligations. It's the weight they're carrying. It's the size of the backpack. So the real goal isn't just to make more money. More money without less weight just means a bigger, more expensive backpack. More money without freedom just means a nicer cage. The real goal is to reduce the weight you carry. To lower your fixed costs. To eliminate the payments that control you. To lighten the backpack until you can move freely again. Because the moment that weight is gone, the moment you're not trapped anymore, you don't just gain money. You gain something much more valuable. You gain control. Over your time. Over your decisions. Over your life. Over your future. And that's not just financial freedom. That's freedom, period. If you want to understand how to reduce your financial pressure, how to lower your fixed costs, how to lighten the backpack and start building real freedom, step by step, subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't just talk about money. We don't give generic tips or recycled advice. We teach you how to take your life back. How to escape the system. How to build something real. New videos every week. And before you go, write in the comments one payment you'd eliminate from your life if you could. One weight you want to drop. Make it real. Make it a goal. Because the moment you name it, you're already closer to removing it. See you in the next video.